DVD, but I'm going to start first and then we'll show you the DVD. Good morning. Thank you for inviting us to be here and talk to you about our program. How many people here have ever been to Hilltop Artists? Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, terrific. In 1994, the Hilltop area of our town was pretty infamous across the nation. It was shown regularly on cops. The problems that were going on with the gangs were a matter of consternation across the United States, but particularly in Tacoma, which is very strange since we were much smaller than most communities having that problem. What happened in Tacoma was the people involved and the community leaders in the Hilltop area and in the government got together to try and resolve some of the issues. And one of the main things they were looking at was what could they do about young people who were getting sucked into this lifestyle. The community leaders that met together on this came up with one program that is now kind of a flagship in Tacoma, and that was Hilltop Artists. And Dale Shahuli was involved in that, and the artist Kathy Barrett. And their idea was that this would be unique enough and dangerous enough that it would appeal. They drove around, Dale didn't, but Kathy and others did. They drove around and found youth hanging out on corners and told them about, why do you want to come see the hot shop? You want to give this a try? And it actually worked. We have a teacher today who teaches at Wilson. We're in 3 schools now. And our teacher at Wilson was the younger cousin of one of the initial people. He had been a drug dealer. He was invited to come to the hot shop. He fell in love, gave up his past associations, more or less, and began being a glassblower. And when his nephew started going sideways, even though he was very young, he made him come to the hot shop and just sit there. When he was old enough, he got to participate. And he's now one of the best teaching artists and glassblowers we have. So that's just sort of a trajectory that happened. Most of our students now are not involved in gangs. What we are is far more an intervention program. And we're using art as a way of intervening. The science-based information now is very clear that being involved in the arts increases young people's academic success and often leads to greater social and behavioral success. Social and behavioral success are deeply tied to academic success. It's kind of that whole picture sort of thing. We've discovered that working directly with kids on academics does not give them the same ability to succeed as going a little deeper and working on their long-term relationships and their abilities to self-manage. So those are the things that we're doing art. They think they're blowing glass. We're fusing, we're doing mosaics. And they think that's why they're there, but we know why they're there, which is, for example, this one young man was explaining to some visitors what he did there. And he said, see that guy over there? He said, on the streets, we don't talk. And he said it in that kind of dangerous voice. Kids like this, and we don't talk because. And he said, but in here we blow glass together. We're on the same team. It's that kind of opportunity that being in a sort of experimental learning environment allows young people. The kids that we serve from 11 to 20, for the most part, are youth that other kinds of alternative programs have not worked for. Athletics is not their cup of tea, other forms of art. There's something about, they roam around our classroom. It's very open. They work in teams. They can be quiet and be by themselves, or they can jump in and join. And we give them that ability to pick what they're going to do that day within that framework. There's something about the learning curve there that allows them to increase their ability to be attentive to one another and to work as teammates. That seems to hold out great promise for them. The students that engage in our program, who stay the course and become on our production team, have a 98% graduation rate. These are not students that, we don't have advanced placement students figured into these statistics. And Kathy will tell you a lot more about our target population and the wraparound services that we offer that support their ongoing success. Real briefly, we have, as I said, we're in 3 schools, one of which is in Ford Middle School, which is the Franklin Pierce School District, We have a program at Wilson High School, which is a career technical education program during the daytime. And a nice aside there is that all of the glass blowers, the employees at Tacoma Glass, are graduates of Hilltop artists. So we're very excited by that. And it just shows, I thought, career tech ed, glass blowing, these people are optimistic. But there's a certain percentage of the kids that go out with very good skills for being employed doing many things. And some of them actually are very good glass blowers and are able to get into that field. Then at Jason Lee, there's also an after school for high school students at Wilson. At Jason Lee, we have classes all day long, and those classes are electives for kids. We work with the counselors at the school, and we try and get kids in there who have behavioral issues, as well as kids who indicate that they would really like to do that. Sometimes we have kids that can't get along in other classrooms, and in extreme instances, they'll pick up their homework and they just stay all day with us, because for some specific reason it works. Our teachers are there year in and year out, which makes a huge difference too. The single most important factor in young people's success is a long-term relationship with a trusted adult. Now, of course, this can be a family member, it can be a neighbor, it can be a teacher. For most kids, though, their teachers are, in our schools, they only have them for 1 year. And so that doesn't unfold. Greg Piercy, who many of you may know, has been with our program for 18 years. So there's that possibility that we serve over 500 students a year. The difference in serving 500 students a year and serving like 10,000 at a Boys and Girls Club is that our students are there many hours a week, and they're there year in and year out. So it has a different impact and a different way of promoting their well-being. We have programs at Ford Middle School, which is an after-school program, and then we have after-school also for middle school students at Jason Lee. Right now there's 45 kids in that classroom, and it's pretty crazy. Then we have team production, and team production is made up of the older students who've had 2 or 3 classes with us, and these are the kids that are doing the installations that you see around town. These kids are from age 15 to 20. They have to be involved in an educational process. In other words, if they're not going to get their degree on time, they have to be involved in their GED. Or we had one student who took his gap year between graduation from high school and from college. He wanted to take a gap year blowing glass and volunteering with us. Because he had a plan, we said, sure, that's okay. Now, like many a parent, we were fooled. He did not go on to college. He is, however, a brilliant glass blower, and he is working at Tacoma Glass. So we do our best to maintain a plan for an educational future for our kids. And Kathy can talk to you. I think the kids that go on to post-secondary education, the percentages. Okay, she'll tell you. That will be an exciting moment. Then we also have a summer school. So I would like to have a show for you, our slideshow, and then Kathy will talk to you. Kathy Anderson is our outreach and communications manager. And what she brings is something that none of the other programs that we're aware of have to offer, which is she works directly with the kids and their families. One year there were 7 kids who were homeless. And by the time school got going, she had them enrolled in school and had a place to live. So we do a kind of wraparound thing. She's worked with kids whose grades were dropping because of the need for dental work. And we worked with some local people, and they got all of their dental work done for free. So what we have found is that sending people off to get help is not, kids aren't going to go, and they're generally not going to be able to get their parents to go with them. And so it's not unusual for Kathy to drive a student down to a GED appointment. What's different is they actually get their GED. Some kids need that extra bit of support, and we are there to provide that. Thank you.
I call my mom. possible. And every day I put my mind to it and actually practice the craft, the dream seems more accessible. So I'm just gonna keep on building until I actually do what I want. Before Hilltop Artist, I was doing every other kid does, playing outside, not knowing what else to do, you know. But when I got here, it gave me a sense of responsibility and direction because I kind of got the chance to get the opportunity to have a goal and to be able to make my own steps to get through the goal.
Before I came here, I didn't have patience, and that's really helped me because now I have a lot more patience. So I used to like never be able to do something and complete it, but now I actually complete my things. And this just helped me be a better person all around, I think. It's like definitely helped me through everything.
I was pretty much just living life like there was no tomorrow at that point in time in my life. Bad neighborhood, you know, family murdering, the best of role models they can be. I was actually shot in my ear when I was 16 years old. So that's when I really decided that I needed to change my life. There's so much more to life than being stuck in a situation that you don't want to be in. You always start out with a shape of some sort, and you build off the shape. I was always told from the beginning, draw what you want to make, because you can't. I'm gonna make this. You want to know your dimensions and things of that sort.
I'm not really the type of artist that wants to, you know, copy exactly how something looks. I want to put my kind of own interpretation on it.
It all starts out as just a ball of glass at the end of a pipe. You know, no shape. You pretty much go off the bubble. Treat the bubble good, and the bubble will treat you good. You just blow it out from there, and then you gather again, and then it's back to stage one. You got a spherical shape of glass over glass, and you're gonna want to keep on blowing that out until you shape it up with your papers or with your jacks and whatnot.
There is just a bunch of different things you can do there. Beads and twisty stringers. It's where you twist 2 or more colors. They're kind of hard, and then you can make regular beads, pendants, you can make beads, twisty stringers, there's just all sorts. It's like never ending. It's really awesome. I think we make these. It's with a twisty stringer, and it's a clear encasement.
Doing big pieces like the one we just did outside, kind of pieces that everyone has a say on it a little bit. It's not just a 2-person project, it's kind of like a 3-4-person project, you know? That's my favorite part.
I like just manipulating glass, you know, making it do what I want to do. And I love putting like designs and things, you know, stars or whatever it may be, and kind of an empowerment. You know, you're like, man, I'm holding this beautiful creation, and you know, it's in my hand. If I drop it, it breaks. You know, it's just the adrenaline rush that you got. Any slip up, you could drop it, and you know, but it just feels like a volcano. You know, it's erupting. Like, oh my gosh, look at this piece here. I love it, and it's just, it just feels great. It feels, you know, good in your hands. It feels, I just love it, man. I just love it.
Glass is unpredictable. You can do all the pre-planning you want to, but there comes those instances of spur of the moment, you know, action. That thing that you need just to be able to know what you need at that specific time and go get it, or you know, be able to know how to ask someone to get that for you in the right way. You know, when you're in a rush, you want to make sure you respect all your teammates as well.
I pretty much love the fact that I can, anything that comes to my mind, I can put it on the glass. You know, ugly or not, it's art. It's all about your moods too. Like, if you come in with a bad day, you're gonna see it in the piece. You know, if you come in, you know, you heard some good news, you know, you're gonna come in, it's gonna show in your piece. And I just love the fact that I can, any way I'm feeling down, up, it's gonna show in my piece. And I just love that. That's what I love about it. I love about art in general. Anything you can think of, you can make it happen.
It's awesome for me. It's one of those things that I can go to no matter what, and I know like I'm welcome here, and that I can come here if I'm like stressed, and I can just focus on something else rather than other stuff. It helps me like be not so shy and stuff, and it actually helps me get to know people better.
That was my first pig. I think it turned out pretty good for my first one. I think we're making it for a commission for this business. And, you know, I figured the black and white, you know, catch somebody's eye, and someone would pretty much enjoy it. That's my black, I call it my black forest hand. Hope I can get better at this and make pigs that look more like pigs and not wombats, you know. I try to get as much practice in as possible. I want to make a career out of this. Like I'm just going to get a couple of degrees in arts and science. Try to, you know, start my own glass business. As I grow, live and learn, broaden my horizon, and just try to be the best I can be. You know?
I just want to stick with this for however long I can. It's like everything to me. I love it, and I want to try and get my sister in here. It seems like she really has an interest. I taught her how to make a bead, and she was like gleaming with excitement. It was really great to see her so happy, and so I really want to try and get her in here because I think she would love this too.
I hope to get my bachelor's degree in glass, possibly my master's. I just want to go glass. That's all I want to do. I've honestly been saying that since I was in 7th grade.
I'm Chris and I'm a Hilltop artist. I'm Evan and I'm a Hilltop artist. I'm Hakeem and I'm a Hilltop artist.
I'm Ian and I'm a Hilltop artist. I'm Lee and I'm a Hilltop artist.
I'm RJ and I am a Hilltop artist. I'm Samantha and I'm a Hilltop artist.
I'm Trent and I'm a Hilltop artist. I'm Billy and I'm a Hilltop artist.
I'm Jessica and I'm a Hilltop artist.
My name is Jerry McCann, and I'm a Hilltop artist.
I'm Taylor Monhorse, and I'm a Hilltop artist.
My name is Dante Scott, and I am a Hilltop artist.
I'm going to use this mic because I don't like to hold a mic, because then you might see how nervous I am about public speaking. I have the pleasure of working directly with a lot of these kids, most of these kids. We're there in the daytime from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night with all of our programs. So my time fluctuates between coming in early and working with the daytime kids and coming in later and working with our evening kids. So the other day in after school, one of the girls broke a nail while she was doing something and was lamenting the fact that she had broken a nail. The kid next to her said, "First world problems." Just shook his head, which we all thought was hysterical. But the bottom line is that most of these kids are not dealing with first world problems. They're dealing with some really serious issues. Our free and reduced lunch at Jason Lee alone is over 86%. This is a lot of kids living in poverty. We have a lot of homeless kids, more every year, and not enough resources to help. If you think back on your teenage years, those are tough times. Those are times I would not want to go back to being a middle school girl. And you couple that with going home to a situation where there's not enough food, or you don't have clothes to wear to school, or you're just inadequately prepared, or you don't have parental support, and it becomes a really, really tough time. I've had kids that come in, and we wonder why they're not succeeding at school. They're hungry, or they're moving so much because they're in transitional housing that they can't focus on what they're doing. So what we've done is, glass is sort of the hook that brings them in and keeps them engaged in school. And that gives us the opportunity to work with these students in a way that they open up to us. They share their issues with us, so we know what's going on in their world. My job is to find out how we can help them. Of course, we can't do everything, I can't house every homeless student. I can't feed everybody. But what I do is I find out who in the community can help. So we do a lot of networking in the community. I work with all kinds of different groups. The Rescue Mission paired up with us this summer. We had 17 students from the Rescue Mission in summer program. And these are programs that are free for all of the students. And then once we get them in there, we can talk to them about what's going on in their world and check in with them. We are trusted allies. We have kids come in and some of the stories. So you can imagine, as hard as it is to be a teenager that's struggling with things that are so far out of your control. Imagine if you were, I'm thinking of one student in particular who's one of our TLC kids, who had such severe anger management issues. Terrible home situation, we can't help that. But what we can do, he was so disruptive in class that he ended up out in a portable with a para most of the time because he could not be in mainstream classroom. We said, let's bring him down to the hot shop and have him sit down here. He can do his work down here. So he would sit and he would do his work, and every now and then he would ask for help, and we'd sit down and do some math with him or go over a reading problem. And if he got frustrated, he'd get up and he'd blow some glass and he'd come back. He was there most of the day for probably 2 months. And in that time, according to his teachers, he got more academic work done than he had the entire rest of the school year, because he was able to concentrate and focus on what he needed to do. And when he needed a break, he could get up and move. A lot of the kids that really, really do well in our program are kids are not typical learners. They're not your real high scoring. They can sit in a classroom and listen to somebody talk and take that all in. These are kids that need to move. They're kinesthetic learners. They're experiential learners. And so when they come into an environment like ours, it just opens up all kinds of worlds for them. That coupled with the fact that you might have a kid that is not succeeding in school, and he's been labeled as the stupid kid since he was in kindergarten. He can come into the hot shop and be a rock star. And all of a sudden, he's the one showing all these other kids how to do something. He's got something he can feel proud about, or she can feel proud about. I've had kids show me work and said, I showed this to my parents. I've never really been proud of anything enough to show them before. It's a pretty big deal. The kind of trust that develops with us, we have kids sometimes from the time they're 12 all the way up to 20. I was talking to Trenton yesterday. He's been with us for 6, 7 years now. Samantha was 9 years. And these are students that our students are definitely not your most likely to succeed kids. These are kids that are facing sometimes horrific stuff on the home front. One of the things that we do in the course of evaluating our students, because we do evaluations, we have to, we write grants to get money to keep things rolling. One of the things that we measure is ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences. The CDC did a huge study on ACEs and found that there's a direct correlation between bad stuff that happens to you when you're a kid and how successful you go on to be as you grow up. We know that, but it's nice to have some really relevant numerical documentation of that. And we find that with our kids too, they're not the most likely to graduate. And our kids score super high on ACEs. They've had a lot of bad stuff happen to them. Despite that, we have super high graduation rates. Not only high graduation rates, they stay in school, they go to post-secondary education, and they're employed. Besides working with us, they go out and get jobs. These kids stay with us for years. They know that at any point they can come back and talk to us. We have kids, always have kids dropping back in. When we talk about, I am a Hilltop artist, when you're a Hilltop artist, you're always a Hilltop artist. You can always come back. And so we have the reputation for kids knowing that if they need help, they can come to us. We had a kid, I guess it was about 2 years ago, who called up and said, I'm not in your program, but I hear you help kids. I'm like, okay, what do you need? Well, I don't have a place to live, and I want to go back to school. I can't live on the streets and not be in school. Okay. He came in, we got him in our after-school program. He was too old to go through normal school and graduate, so we got him on a GED track, bright kid. In 4 months, he was living in a stable housing. He had done his GED through Bates and some extra classes. These kids just need somebody sometimes. Sometimes it's just one person to help and say, yes, we're here for you, and we don't give up on kids. And we have kids that, we have one kid, I think he's been in every single school in Tacoma because he keeps getting expelled. He gets expelled, we go in, I talk to the principal, we sit down, we meet, and if we can get him back in school, great. If not, We're going to a different school. He's been literally through every single school and is now on a GED track. Bright kid, and he's doing great. He's working and he's being successful. He's not gang involved. He's not court involved anymore, thankfully. And he really is doing well. But sometimes it takes different kinds of paths with kids, and the bottom line is just never giving up. And the other thing that I do too is when I refer kids to places, we have kids that have just crazy, horrible things that go on at home. We had one kid that called me because he was home alone and his mom died, and he didn't know what to do. He'll call us. Those are the kind of calls I get. And the kids have my cell phone. They can call me anytime, and we're there for them. I also don't refer kids to programs I don't know about. Unless I've been there and I've met the people and I know what the program offers, I'm not going to give a kid a phone number and say, yeah, you need to go talk to them. No, we're going to get in the car and drive down. Sometimes it's, I'm picking you up tomorrow at 8 and we're going to go see the counselor. I also work with families sometimes. I've done home mediation when it's called for. Most of the time, though, when things are really serious, I have a wonderful, wonderful network of people and organizations in Tacoma that I can call on for help. So if I have an emergency situation with a kid, I can call up and have an emergency outreach person there in 10, 15 minutes. And it's also, besides counseling, there's medical, there's dental, there's just basic care. We had a kid show up at the beginning of school, right before school started, whose father had had a heart attack and triple bypass and said, I'm not ready for school and I'm really upset and I don't know what to do. Can I just stay here? I'm like, yeah, you can stay here, let's blow class and hang out for a while. We went out and got him shoes for school and got him school supplies, and he and his dad spent the day with us on Sunday at the Museum of Glass watching Dale Chihuly blow, which is a big deal for our kids. So in short, it's really about the relationships that we create with our students and the long continued continuity of care that we give kids. They know that they can come and be part of what we do, and we're always there for them. So thanks.